Good morning everyone and welcome to another video. This one, it's going to be part 3 of my cold water lures. Part 1 I showed you how the one I used already, like the wedge tails, the type of lures I'm using and how I balance them and how I insert weight inside the belly. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the comment below. Part 2 I showed you how the animation, how I use these lures and how slow I can reel these lures back in. Which again surprised a lot of people because it's like stagnant on the bottom really, but it does work, and especially when it's cold. And another thing I like to do that I didn't show in the first 2 videos is kind of to finish customizing that lure, because it's a lure that really evolves on the bottom super slow, just dragging it and dredging it on the bottom. I like to add a little bit of stink to it. And for that, what I do is, I don't know, I make a little chamber, a little smelly chamber, where I add a little bit of attractant. Because these lures are dragged on the bottom so slowly, the pike usually come and investigate them. It's not like they're having a reaction strike and come running from yards away and just to grab it. They're usually attracted by this thing just like wobbling on the bottom and having a hard time moving. Definitely looks like a dying bait, something that's just like having its last breath at the bottom of the lake. And usually they come and have a good fair inspection to it. They come and have a good look at it. And I think when it's so slow and the pike are really putting their nose on the bait, really inspecting it, a little bit of extra smell can't do any harm. So and if it doesn't do any harm, why not trying it? If it can give you that little edge sometimes, why not doing it? So that's what I do. But mostly this is just only one type of lure where I would put some smell on it. If I fish any type of other lures, I don't really bother with smell because I'm mostly looking for a reaction strike for fish that are feeding. But now we're talking especially now, like temperatures are like all in the negative every day here. It's freezing every night, so it's perfect condition at the moment for these lethargic fish that are kind of hugging the bottom of the lake. So very easy to do. All I do is grab some tubing, aluminium tubing. Yeah, I get that on Amazon for really cheap. It's kind of art and craft, or you just type round aluminium tube and you find all the different types and sizes. I go for the 10 millimeter, so it gives you a nice little place for the chamber. All you have to do then is just measure where it's going to place in your bait. I like to put it straight, kind of in the middle, so you get a nice thick part of the body where you can have a lot of smelly stuff that can go in, and at the same time it doesn't really hinder the movement of the fish. So just measure the thickness of your bait, cut then after the tube. Either way, do that with a hacksaw or whatever. And then after, it's very easy, just puncture the bait, just use a bit of force and there's no problem. I like doing that by pushing it through because it actually creates a really tight fit, and you don't even need glue to hold the aluminium tube inside the bait. Now after, all you have to do is get a bit of sponge, an old bit of sponge or anything like that, just shove it in there, put a little bit of super glue in the middle just to hold that sponge in, and that's it, it's done. Fairly simple to do, fairly cheap as well, because one tube like that, two pieces of tubes like this will go a long way, because you're only cutting like about 10 millimeters at a time, like, so you have that for a long time. It's very cheap, and once the bait is gone and is broken, you can remove this one and put it in another bait, so it'll last a very long time. Now as for what I put in the bait, this is an all different debate. It's a bit like when I used to dead bait. I had season after season trying smelly bait, non-smelly bait, and it made difference on certain type of things. So some days it made a huge difference, some days it made absolutely no difference. So it's not a 100% foolproof method, but I think that it can help. And like I said, if it doesn't harm, why not trying it? So what type of stuff I use in? I use mostly gels. I don't use fish oils. Fish oils in cold water, they just get stiff and don't release any good scent in the water. Even the winterized one, be careful, because sometimes like they're not that great. So see what brand you like and try it with your usual fish oils or whatever you use. But like I said, I tend to use from natural fish oils, because in cold water they tend to just to get to solidify and not really disperse really nicely. So I like gel attractants, or for example, there's many on the market. One that's coming to our shore now, that's coming from America. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard decent results, especially people who bass fish in America. They're kind of mad into injecting everything with smell and everything with scent and pheromones and all sorts. But one that come to our shore now, I think you can find it in some shops. It's called Bait Fuel. I haven't tried that one, but I'm going to get some and try it. At the moment, what I'm using a lot is the Lunker lotion from Mike's. Now this is a sticky formula. It doesn't say what it is. It stays on longer and increases strikes. That's what it says in the bottle. Well, they're not going to lie to you. But yeah, this is the herring one, and like I said, I like it because it has that kind of a gel sticky solution. Sometimes I even just put a drop and just rub it on the lure, and it stays. It's kind of nice. But all I have to do is just open the thing, give it a good squirt, and fish away. And you can renew that every few odd cast, and you see when the bait is washed out, when the product is washed out. But yeah, why not? That's another thing I do, and like I say, if it doesn't harm, why not trying it? So there you go. Put a bit of smell in your bait. I have some flies as well where I put smell in it. That's another video coming that I'm working on. So fly fishermen, don't despair. I'm doing one coming fairly soon on how I add that stuff into flies. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. And there you go. Pimp your lure and get some smell into it. Thank you. And I'll see you the next one. Bye.